Hi, I'm Mary Polcheninoff, and welcome to Sure Things. Today, I'm very happy to introduce a friend of mine I met through neighbors, Lisa Leonardi. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Mary. Nice
Uh,
to see you.
Nice to have you here. Lisa is a professional home stager and interior decorator, so I was very happy to be able to have Lisa on our show, thinking about all the things that not only this time of year, but what we've just gone through with being quarantined. And I'm so happy that we're coming out of it. But a lot of people took to doing some home improvements and some things around their house, as well as now we're entering the warmer season. So people are doing that. So I thought of Lisa because Lisa actually came to my place. Remember that, Lisa? That was many years ago.
Sure do. I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's great that we have stayed in touch, and
Yeah.
hopefully you still like the changes you made to your home.
Oh my gosh, I did. So, Lisa, I'm so curious. And Lisa's also known as the room doctor. So, if that doesn't give you some self assurance when you have somebody come in to say, this is what I think, then I don't know what can, because I was very, very confident in that. But Lisa, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started and your background in becoming the room doctor in your professional career?
Sure. Well, about 16 years ago, we moved to Connecticut. My family moved to Connecticut, and I wanted to start a new career and follow a passion that I had had for many years in design. And I really loved the idea of helping people use what they already had in their homes and give them ideas on how to just refresh things and give new life to their homes. And because a lot of times people don't think they have what's necessary to have a beautiful home, and my job is to help them see that. And so 16 years ago I started my business, and it really took a whole new direction for me. I've done interior redesign, which is what I just described to you, helping people use what they already have, but also home staging really took off. So I help many people sell their homes, make their homes look more appealing to buyers, help them update their spaces so their homes will sell more quickly.
So
And go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I need to cut you off. So you actually transitioned from the room doctor, although you still do that, into more of a professional home
Home
stager
stager,
type career.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So we stage about 100 or more properties per year.
Wow.
And of course, this year's been a little different with the pandemic, but I have been so thrilled that in Connecticut especially, our real estate market has fared well through the pandemic.
That is great news, because I noticed that when you see an ad for an open house, or when I walk by the open houses, I know there's a lot more virtual tours of
Yes.
houses and in-person type meetings, one-on-one, instead of the big open houses that they used to have.
Absolutely. Yep, that's been a difference. I mean, we've in recent years with virtual showings that people can really get a good sense online of what a home has to offer.
Right.
So right now we're seeing multiple offers being made on homes, and homes under $500,000 are really moving quite quickly.
Wow.
Just to give you an idea, we have staged 42 homes this year, and 38 of those have gone under contract in an average of 22 days.
Wow, that is quite a trend for Connecticut then.
It's encouraging, it's really encouraging. And I know that there are sellers out there that have been holding off putting their homes on the market because they were afraid to, but this has really been very encouraging news that homes are moving. So.
That is encouraging. We've gone through, we did a show, for instance, on the food pantry, and there's so many other shows that have been out there and helping people get through this and reaching out to resources. And as I said earlier, the idea for this was there's so many people with the hardware stores being open during the whole time and so many people being at home working, they were looking at those projects that they had put off and they were getting to them finally.
Yes.
So I'm curious with your combination of your room doctor and your professional staging now, do you see at this point, I was going to ask you the common trends you see that are actually beneficial that people might be doing in their houses to not only spruce them up, but also to make them very appealing if they went on the market?
Yes. So I myself actually during the pandemic, because what can you do when you're home all day, 24
Right.
hours, 7 days a week?
Right.
I did some things that most home buyers can do very easily to spruce up their homes. I switched out accent pillows, and even you don't even have to purchase entire pillows. You can just get pillow covers. All these things are available online too, which makes it easy. So even though now that stores are starting to open again, for those people who are a little nervous about still getting out there, there's so many resources online that are available to purchase things.
Yeah.
So I switched out pillow covers. I switched out some lighting fixtures just to update.
Yeah.
Area rugs. And I added a lot of greenery, which that is actually a trend right now, is bringing the outside into your home and adding lots of plants. My younger daughter moved back in with us because she is from Brooklyn, and of course we know what the conditions are there in New York. She brought about 20 plants home with her, and they're all over my house right now, and I have to say, I love it. It's made a real difference. And that one of the trends right now is bringing, like I said, the outside in, getting back to nature. You see that now with the paint colors. This year, the paint color of the year for Pantone is called Classic Blue, and it's like a nice rich navy.
Dark blue. A dark blue. Oh,
Same
wow.
thing with Sherwin-Williams. Their color of the year is called Naval, which is a nice nautical blue as well. Benjamin Moore's color of the year is called First Light, which is a very soft pink. But what we're seeing in color trends is we're getting away from the neutrals. You know, for about a decade or so now, it's been all about neutral colors.
Like gray and beige, the grays
Gray,
and the
beige, yes. And even white in kitchens especially, white cabinetry has been very big. But we're getting a little bit away from that now, and bolder, warmer, more saturated colors are what's trending now. For example, in like this color here, this golden yellow, that's very popular now. Even green.
Lisa, how do you find your information? I'm so curious about that. So you got the trends. Do you follow publications, or do you belong to an association, or how do you keep abreast of the current trend?
Well, yes, there are various publications and magazines, of course, but you see it in they did decor, in clothing. So and the two go hand in hand together. So the new trends are across the board, in not only decor but clothing, textiles, everything kind of follows these trends.
It all matches up with the trends.
Yes.
I don't think I realized that. That's very interesting.
One of the things too is you use the word matching, which I want to encourage people to, because I see this all the time when I meet with clients. People get stuck and feel like everything has to match. Right now, a huge trend is mixing all kinds of patterns and textures and and colors. So, you want to try, I always encourage people, try not to have your spaces look like they came out of a furniture showroom.
Yeah.
Show your personality through your decor choices. And it makes for a much more interesting look.
It
And it
does.
reflects who you are.
It does.
I
Yeah.
think people get too hung up on doing what they think they're supposed to do, as opposed to decorating with things that really speak to them and resonate with them.
Mhm.
So right now, even metals, hardware, you can mix finishes. For example, in a bathroom, if you're changing out hardware, not everything has, chrome used to be very big and brushed nickel.
Right.
Now we're seeing much more brass, but a matted brass, not shiny like the brass used to be years ago.
Right.
And you can mix the brass finishes with the silver finishes. It's kind of like anything goes now. So it's a great opportunity to just have fun with decorating and feel free.
How long, so that's very interesting, because we just had this conversation in my house as well. We painted a room, like a lot of people, and we had a bit of a debate on a saturated color versus a neutral. So we did have that debate. So it's so interesting to hear that I was probably not on the winning side of that, but that's okay. Now I know. But I wondered, do you have, and this is probably you're unable to answer, but how long do trends usually last? Do you say that's a 5-year thing, and then you have to think about upgrading, or what do you think in your experience?
I mean, some things are timeless, but for example, the whole neutral phase has been going on for about a decade or so.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of it has to do with, right now, we're in need for relaxation and retreat, and so I think the times are calling for that, and that is reflected in the design trends now.
Yeah.
That's why the colors that I've been talking to you about that are inspired by nature. I think people just want to feel relaxed and comfortable, and
right.
so I think this trend will be here to stay for a while. The other thing we're seeing is old is good. Old is coming back. People want to they want to use sustainable things. They want to be conservative, so they're taking second-hand furnishings and they're refurbishing them, changing fabrics and painting those older pieces. Antique art is now becoming more popular because antique art tells a story, and it's much different than what you can find for art in your local stores. So
I did read that. That is I thought that was very interesting, because I have certain things that I think, oh, well, nobody will want, but I have read that some antiques, to add that personal touch, might be making a comeback, which is amazing.
Yeah, it adds a level of interest too, because and some people hold on to secondhand things from their generations in their family, and it's important to them. I don't think there's a home that is filled with personal mementos that have been handed down has so much more meaning than something that you could buy at home
and
goods.
I like what you
love
said.
home goods.
Yes, I like what you said too about the story behind it, because that always adds that element of soul to what you have around when they have that.
Absolutely.
I wondered, when somebody asked you to come in, if someone's going to put their house on the market and they ask you to come in, and I'm sure that people take it very seriously when you do come in. Do you notice any common mistakes that people just perhaps overlook when they're thinking about showing their house? Anything common you see that you right away you'd say, oh, yeah.
So the way that we live in our homes is very different than the way we have to show our homes for resale. And
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
live in ways that we function well in our homes. But sometimes that could mean a lot of clutter, or it can mean in order to accommodate the size of our families, we, might have too much furniture in our spaces, which won't photograph well. And buyers are looking at your home online first. That's their very first showing. So what they see in those online photographs of your home have to really impress them, especially now with the pandemic. People are looking online now more than ever, and they will only go to look at your home in person if they're very serious about it.
Now, Lisa, what if you come in my home and I have furniture that's probably lovingly worn and has seen its days? Are you still just able to put something over that, or throw, or how do we get that? Because you mentioned before that you use items that the people have in their house.
Yes. Well, yes, that's true. We can do that. We also can provide inventory if something just is not showing the space well. However, slip covers can do wonders. If there's a stain on a piece of on fabric on a upholstered piece, you can use a throw. You can update by using accent pillows, which is amazing. So there are very cost-effective ways to make updates in a home so that it will photograph better and feel better when buyers actually come in to see the home.
You mentioned you have an inventory of items.
Yes, so we stage vacant homes a lot. We stage occupied homes as well, but so we work with a lot of house flippers or builders. And so we provide a model home look for those homes.
Oh, I see. Then do you ever get the buyer that comes in and says, I like it, I want all of this, and I will take it? Do you actually sell your inventory?
We sure do, yes. I take that as a compliment. If it feels like home to them when they walk into that space and they love what's in there, I can easily replace those furnishings, and I'd like that new buyer to feel good about moving into the space.
So does that, do you have a warehouse? A warehouse?
Yes.
Or?
Yes.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, and we have, well, like we can stage up to 40 homes at one time. So that gives you an idea of how much inventory we have. So I have a warehouse that's as big as a home, 2,500 square feet.
And you have all that. Do you have other people, other interior decorators that work with you and help with the buying and the staging?
Yep.
Yeah.
So my staff is made up of 4 home stagers, and we have some staging assistants. We have movers who move our furniture in and out of homes. And I also have some interior designers that collaborate with me as well.
Well, you have quite a team.
Yes, yeah. I have a great team. Very fortunate.
And did you start this? I know you said at the beginning that you had decided for the career change. Did you start this from the ground up? I mean, was it just Lisa going out to be the room doctor?
Yeah, I had never run a business before, but when I made my mind up to do this, I was educated and received training in it. And yes, it's grown exponentially in the past 16 years.
That is awesome. Do you have, I was really happy to hear what you said too earlier about the economy and how the housing market is doing so well, which again is a positive in this time where we really crave those positive times. Is there an average time that you do have a house staged before you feel it moves, or before you decide, maybe somebody decides to take it off the market?
Well, it really depends on the circumstances, because sometimes the $1 million plus properties take longer. There's not as much as big of a buyer pool for that price range.
Yeah.
And it depends on the homeowners, the sellers that are trying to sell the home. Sometimes it can be hard to have your home on the market for a while. But like I said before, we've been seeing homes in particular under $500,000 moving very quickly. If the home sits on the market longer, unfortunately, if it's on the market for more than 3 months or 6 months, then buyers tend to get a little suspicious that something's wrong with the house,
Okay. Right.
So that's why it's important to present your home the best way possible from the start. Sometimes people will make the mistake of saying, I'm going to put my home on the market in its current state and see what happens. If it doesn't sell, take it off. But that can be a little risky because buyers have the ability to find out how long a home has been sitting on the market, if there's been price drops, price reductions. And that's the other thing. If you're a seller, you don't want your house sitting on the market for too long because you're losing money.
It doesn't, not good for that. Yeah.
Price reduction, your very first price reduction is typically $5,000 or more. So it really pays to make whatever updates you need to in advance of putting it on the market, or at least just using a stager to help you present it in the best way possible,
And it's interesting too that you said about those houses moving so well right now. I have my son and his wife up from New Jersey staying for a bit, and my son was looking at trends too and saying the same thing. He's noticing a lot of people leaving the city and leaving the urban areas to come into Connecticut. So he was noticing the same thing.
We've seen that a lot in the last few months. Actually, it was the New York Post on May 20th had an article that said that was entitled "New Yorkers," something like "New Yorkers create a tidal wave for real estate in Connecticut," because they're looking for second homes. They want to get out of the city. I
do. Yeah, I've seen that. We've been talking about that trend here too, especially with both my son and his wife. They work in New York City, so they're working from home, but looming in the background is that time when they have to go back into the city. And there's a lot of questions. A lot of people don't want to, so it's very interesting at this time.
Right now, the other thing that's really motivating buyers is the interest rates are at an all-time low.
Very low,
so they can, that's incentive, and they are looking for a good deal, and there are plenty out there.
They are. Yeah, they can. Well, Lisa, this has been so interesting. I'm so glad we got to catch up and talk about what's been going on in your business, which is just booming. Glad to hear.
Thank you,
and the current trends. So, yeah.
It's kind of like we've been sitting there having a cup of coffee in your kitchen.
I know. I love that part, right? I love that part. So I just want to thank you for being on Shore Things. And I want to thank everybody else for tuning in. And I hope people come back and see another show. Thank you, Lisa.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mary. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.